Number 12 quarterback is?
Number 12 is Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings, quarterback of the Fighting Mike Florios right there. Kirk O'Chains, as they call him nowadays. Still, what an unbelievable moment this year.
He's so happy there, too. He's just like shirt off, chains on, glasses on. He's like, I'm part of the guys.
That's the first time in his career he was considered a cool guy on the team. He was like, look at this, Mom, I'm cool.
Yeah,
he was like that kid in school.
It just took 15 years in the NFL or whatever it's been.
It just took a bunch of guys on the plane to throw some gold chains on me, and now I'm cool. Look at this. They said, take your shirt off and put some chains on, and now I'm cool.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Kirk Cousins, I got a lot of respect for his game. He had a phenomenal year. And I think if there was a headline to be read, I would go ridiculous, quick decision maker and defense reader and more aggressive than last season or maybe other seasons that I've seen altogether.
So he was more aggressive this past year, you think?
He really was. And it blows you away when you start to watch the throws and you just how many – okay, we just talk about Dak Prescott, and this is, to me, why he's ahead of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a better athlete, has some things that are better, but Dak Prescott could not hit the mark on some of the high-level throws that Kirk Cousins made as consistently as Kirk Cousins does. Kirk Cousins, I challenge people, go back and watch him last year. How many times has he hit, 25-yard crosser, 30-yard post, 50-yard post corner for 23, slot just corner flag route for 20. And it's not like these people are wide open. It's dropping it in the bucket with touch. It's, there's, people bearing down on me, and now I just got to cut it loose into a tight window. Boom, on the money, right? It's all of that. So that's where he was different. And then something I told you that I loved before the pod a little bit, where he was different. And again, he needs a system. We know that. He's not going to make it happen all the time.
Right.
But where he made it happen more than different than other years, in my opinion, is there was a number of plays where in the past I would have gone, there he is. Kurt's just working the system over here, and he's going to get the 5-yard completion. Whoop-de-do, right? Where this year he was like, screw the play McConnell drew up. I got Jefferson one-on-one over here. I know the play might get me a 6 or 7 yard completion, but Jefferson's over here, and he's one-on-one. And my bet is he's going to beat him. And if it doesn't beat him, I can throw the ball in a spot where I know he can get it. And that's, to me, where his aggression and their offense was more dangerous this year.
Maybe he was given license to do that.
Maybe. And I think there's some of that to that. I think everything I'm saying was a little bit more of a license to do that. An ex-quarterback, an offensive play caller, watching film with him, watching practice going, hey, dude, throw that ball in there. Let it rip. You're Kirk Cousins. It's like the confidence we talked about with Sean Payton. He'll give Russell Wilson. Yeah. Same type of thing. I think so.
He goes, you're Kirk Cousins. He goes, are you saying that in a good way or a bad
way? He goes, no, you're Kirk O'Chains. You're not Kirk Cousins.
Okay,
and then he went, okay, you're right. I'll throw it to Justin Jefferson. But yes, I think it was there's a ton of that. And it's, not backyard football. I don't want to say that. But just having a little bit of like, hey, I got confidence in myself and him, and we're going to make it happen, let alone doing it a few times where it wasn't even smart to do it. But I still give him guts, like, the situation, like the Bills game. Old Kirk Cousins would not have thrown that ball up on 4th and 17 or 8, whatever it was, where Justin Jefferson made the unreal catch. Remember that play?
Oh, yeah.
He would have gone, wait, no, he's double covered. I'm not coached to do that. This year he went, it. I can throw it up there, and this is going to go get it. I'm just going to put it up there for him. And it made them more dangerous, let alone his ability to work the system. So that's where I give him credit.
He's always been in this range for you.
Yeah.
12 through 16, and all of the previous years you've been doing the top 40. I've always had him as one of my most underrated players in the NFL, just because I think his failures in prime time are, again, amplified.
Right, which is overrated, because as we know, the 425 game has the biggest ratings of all, and he plays pretty good in all of those. People can push back on that.
I don't know. Sunday Night Football is the most important game every week in the NFL with the most eyes on it. He was 4th in passing yards last year, ahead of guys like Burrow, Allen, Geno, Trevor. He was tied for 5th in passing touchdowns. He led the league with 8 game-winning drives. So fourth quarter team down.
Clutch as hell.
Puts him ahead. So I've always thought he is underrated. But yes, he has struggled sometimes in those late night games when people are watching, and in the playoffs, just like Dak Prescott. I think we have Kristen back there, graphic on his career in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Very similar. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. His numbers aren't all that different though, and in fact, in the playoffs, his interceptions per game is a scant 0.3 compared to 0.8 in the regular season. So. It's 4 games, and so you always got to figure the sample size. But again, It's like he hasn't been able to do it in the playoffs.
He hasn't.
And the whole team hasn't.
No, you're right. There's a lot of reasons to that, for Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins for sure. I do think it's, again, where they're throwing and their lack of high level sometimes, just being able to make the wow throws, and some of that is what hurts them. Or the backyard plays. Or some of that, because it's playoff football. It's just not that easy. You're going to have to make some, you said it, like his interception rate went down by 0.5, but so did his touchdown pass rate.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, again, it's better defenses, right? The windows are a little tighter. A 98 mile per hour might get fastball in the regular season might get you the touchdown, but this is a different team. You got to throw it 101 now. And now, can you do that, or can you still be accurate doing that? I think those are the things that would pop into my brain there a little bit, right? But I want to piggyback off of what you said there for a second, because what is it? He's not a superstar. He's definitely one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in football over the last few years. I know he's not a superstar. He's never going to be. But people talk about the Minnesota Vikings, and you listen to most people, and he's one of the first 2 or 3 things that come out of people's mouths when they talk about the problem with the team. And I want to go, my brain wants to go, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You just said it. 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, one of the best offenses in football. All the yards he threw for. They weren't a great running team last year. But Kirk Cousins is the reason they can't get over the hunch. And I don't buy that. It's bullcrap. He'll never be a superstar. He'll probably never be in my top 7 or 8. Never. But can he flirt with 9 to 12 forever? And can you win with Kirk Cousins? Of course. But he's perceived as a nerd, and there's not a sexiness about his style of play. He will, if you give him a system and the tools, he will tear you apart. That's the one thing I know. And he can make a lot of plays that are really special, good quarterback plays, where you go, ooh, man, he was under pressure, or ooh, that was a tight window, or ooh, wow, what a quick decision and read that was to see that and do that, right? But there's not a lot of, wow factors or can go above and beyond, right? There's a certain formula in which he can exist and overcome. He can overcome, some pressure and all this, but he can't overcome, the pocket collapsed so much, and now you have to throw it off your back foot and throw strikes all game.
Yeah.
No, he can't overcome that, and that's where the top 7 or 8 guys can do that, or throw it sidearm, through a hole when there's pressure like that. He can't do that. Or, of course, get out of the pocket and run that way.
Limitations.
There's limitations there a little.
It's almost weirdly like he is being penalized for being on pretty good teams and having pretty good seasons. Because I compare him to a guy like Matthew Stafford,
right,
who went over to the Rams, won a championship right away, and so everyone dismisses all those years in Detroit as like, oh, he was just stuck on a bad team. He really was this good all along. I almost feel like Kirk Cousins, if he were to win one, he turns 35 in August, so the clock is ticking on him. Although he is not in the clock is ticking tier here. We haven't actually given the name yet. We will at the end.
What a bad host.
But I almost feel like if he wins a Super Bowl, I don't know if he'll get as much credit as a guy like Matt Stafford, just because he's been on a lot of teams that have been pretty good, and I don't think people see him as the reason why those teams are pretty good. I
agree. I mean, Matt Stafford, I don't even know if he still gets credit. That was an unbelievable Super Bowl performance, and they were like, who can we give the MVP to other than Stafford?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, again, you go, well, his performance is better than half the quarterbacks in the history of Super Bowl that won MVP, but because it was Matthew Stafford, they just couldn't give it to him, right? And you're probably right, You're right. He'd be the guy that they'd look for somebody else to, right? Or, he's not with the Vikings this year. He's with the 49ers next year, and everybody would go, oh, it's the 49ers. It's Shanahan, right? It's just he's always the guy that everybody's looking to blame or give the credit to anybody else. And it's not fair. I think it's one, sexiness, coolness, whatever, all that. Two, I honestly think the good businessman has hurt him in that department. The fact that he was the first to ever get a guaranteed contract and get 3 years, $90 million, and he gambled on himself with the franchise tags and all that. I honestly feel like the public has held that against him because they went, he's making that much money. He doesn't deserve to be getting that.
Sure.
And I feel like that's part of the bad perception around him as well.
Unless you're a guy like Patrick Mahomes and takes a lesser deal, and then we go, oh, what an idiot. He took so much less money. It's like you can't win.
You're right.
You can't win. Actually, you do win because you're making millions of dollars.
Exactly. Yo, thanks for watching, homies. It's the off season, but you know there's no off season for us here at Unbuttoned. Me, Ahmed Fareed, we're going to hit all the stories. So hit subscribe for us, okay? We got a ton coming up. My draft prospect rankings, my Simms top 40 quarterback countdown, and videos of me and NFL QBs playing catch and talking about their development and mechanics. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. See you soon.